A budget smartwatch? Let's check this thing out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the Tinwoo T37 Smart Watch, and it's a pretty interesting entry-level device. Now, what it features is, as you can see, a 37mm face on a 40mm dial, so there is a fair amount of space around the edge of the screen. But there's some really neat things it does. Now, comes with an app, Android or iPhone, works a little better on the Android side. Apple's kind of locked down the notification system on the iPhone, so third-party watches don't work as well as the Apple Watch, but it does a pretty good job. So when my watch is on, I get notifications and I can swipe down and see my notifications. I can swipe up and see various settings. I can swipe to the left and get, actually I guess that was swiping to the right, and get some updates on my progress and motion. I can swipe to the right and get various settings and functions. There's a lot. I'm going to do a close-up and show you all of this. Much more easy to see, but I just want to talk about it a tiny bit first. So it features 38 different clock faces. You can make your own custom clock faces. It's 5 atmospheres waterproof, and it has things like blood oxygen and heart rate and a sleep monitor and 10 different sports that it can track. So it really, I think these companies look at all the features of the top super expensive smartwatches and they say, oh, we can do that. We can add that sensor. We can put that monitor in there too. So you get these watches that have a ton of features and functionality, maybe not all as well implemented as like the top of the line Samsung Gear or the Apple Watch or something, but at a fraction of the price too. Now, it is a 200 milliamp hour battery, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you can definitely get a week of full and active use out of this on a single charge, which definitely differentiates it from the top of the line watches, because those generally need to be charged every 24 to 30 hours, which I find a real pain. It's really kind of confusing to have a smartwatch that can monitor your sleep, but 99% of people charge it overnight so that it's ready to go the next morning. So that's something I keep waiting for the Gear and the Apple Watch and stuff to just get to that. Even 2 or 3 days per charge, that would be really nice. Meanwhile, 7 to 10 days depending on how actively you use it. Now, one of the things I really like about this that they really got right is that it does have a special custom cable for charging. Not a big fan of that, but okay, Heavenly Choir, it charges via a Qi wireless charging pad. That is such a great feature because you can lose this wire and still have a functional watch. With all the other smartwatches I've seen to date, they really require their own custom cables or custom chargers, and this is just a generic wireless charger. In fact, this is a Tinwoo wireless Qi charger, and it's insanely thin, but that's another story. It does not come with the watch. The watch does not include that. There are also extra bands you can get from Tinwoo, like this brown one. They are not included. It comes with a single band. Now, these bands are a sort of rubbery plastic or plasticky rubber, something like that, depending on how you want to describe it. And I don't find them super comfortable, but they're okay. You put it on, you sort of dial in the actual tightness or how closed you want it to be, and then you're good to go. And now I have my watch and I'm ready to roll. And it does have a lift to see the time, so there's motion sensors in there, which obviously you'd need anyway to be able to track sports. So all of that's going on, but let's switch to that close-up and I'll give you a little tiny tour of the watch so you can see what's going on. Here we are looking at the app and at the watch, and the app is paired to the watch already, so I can look through data. So yesterday, for example, I took a fair number of steps, which was great. And the day before, I didn't actually wear it, so it was at 0. Not super interesting. We can go here, look at statistics, look at more. And more is really where all the fun is, because this is where you get to do things like change the dial. So let's go ahead and change to one of their cloud options. Let's try this one. And yes. And now you'll see the watch has changed to that default Eiffel Tower, but once this progress bar finishes, it'll actually be the dial face that I've chosen. You can also see that the face of the watch itself goes to sleep pretty quickly to conserve battery. Hopefully it will wake up again once it's fully downloaded. We will see. There it is. So there's the new one. So that's great. So confirm. And that's mostly what you can do with the app. It's mostly data collection. So let's switch to looking more closely at the watch itself. So here's the new watch face, and you can see we have the temperature, my steps, and the day and date. If we swipe this way, we get that information again in terms of how much activity I've done today. Incredibly little, since it's still early in the morning. If we swap this way, then you can see some of the many controls and functions that it has that you can check, including settings, which gives you things like brightness. And I'll go back. And now if I pull down, then that's actually an error message from the Alexa app on my phone. Don't panic. But you can see you can step through your notifications, and then I can go back. And then if I go to the top from the bottom, then I get all of these additional functions, which are things like flashlight. Not very exciting. You can turn off notifications. You can check, and it shows battery status. There's a music player control. So there's a lot that they've stuck into this thing, and you can see that I have about 50% battery here, and I'm connected to my phone by that little tiny icon. So it's a pretty slick device. There's a lot to look at here. Now, let me jump back on camera. So there you have it. It's actually a pretty nice, pretty functional little smartwatch. How accurate is everything? How clean are those notifications? How well does it track things? You know, I think you're going to find that it is not 100% comparable to the high-end watches, but its price is so much less that you can buy one of these for each of the people in your family for less than the price of a top-end Gear or a top-end Apple Watch. So the price difference is dramatic. And of course, when you lower the price, you get slightly less, top-end features. It's kind of how it works. But there's a lot to like here. This is a pretty nice little entry-level smartwatch. This could be a really great smartwatch for a teenager or a younger child who really wants to have all of that cool functionality, and you really don't want to risk having $300, $400, $500 watches on their wrist. I wouldn't do that, and I have 3 kids of my own. So, it also has the Tinwoo Pro app, and that app is probably a bit of a weak point too. My experience with all these companies is that it is a challenge to do a really great app that gives you all the functionality you want. And so that's something where it'll keep iterating over time. They'll keep making it better and better. And if you can live with these limitations, and you can live with what it does well and what it does maybe not so well, wireless charging, super long battery life, entirely functional notifications and everything, it's not as elegant, it's not as beautiful, but you don't always need to drive a Ferrari to go to the supermarket, right? That's going to be our analogy of the day. So really, all that's left to talk about is the price. And before we get to the price, I'm going to ask if you can give me some feedback. Give me a comment, give me a thumbs up, give me some way of telling me what you thought of this, what you wish I would have shown, what you actually don't like about this watch but I should have mentioned, or you love about the watch and I forgot to mention, all of that, right? And why not subscribe while you're at it? Just a click or a tap on that little red subscribe button and we're connected. This is the Tinwoo T37 smartwatch, and it's $69 at Amazon.com, currently actually marked down to $59. So for $59, you can join the world of people with smartwatches and get notifications and all sorts of stuff on your wrist. If that's something you want to try at an entry level, this is a viable option for you. So that's all I got. I'm going to put it back on my wrist and go and do something else, which means that once I get this buckle set up here, Not the easiest thing in the world. All right, once I get this on my wrist, I will catch you in my next video.